Hello everybody, welcome to DWSR. Today we're on Assetto Corsa Competizione for a 20-minute race at Imola. And today we're going to be driving the Bentley Continental GT3, the big boy. And we're going to be facing off against some Aston Martins, some Ferraris, some Audis. A very varied field today. Now this is actually practice for an endurance race that I'm going to be doing on the 17th of April of this year. It's a 4 hours of Imola race with a friend of mine. So I just wanted to get some public lobby racing involved. This is one of the best public lobby races I have ever done on this game. Now, it's not without its fair share of problems, but we're going to get into those in just a moment. But sit back, relax for this 13-minute video around Imola. And here we are getting started now at the beginning of the race, the big long straight at Imola, getting up to 220 k's on a flying lap. Now, breaking down into T1 chicane here, it's not going to be without its fair share of problems, as you would expect. We get punted by an AMG from behind, and we drop down now into 12th place. I should mention that we qualified in 7th place at the beginning of the race, having a little slight punt there from the Aston Martin on the inside there, but we're making our way down now towards T3. So, a lot of this race is going to be really about me getting into the groove of Imola. So currently, in this race I was running just the base aggressive setup, going past the AMG on the inside there of the hairpin. Going to get us another position. We're going to be up into 11th place. Great little overtake there. I love overtaking around the hairpin. It's so good. It's such a great overtaking spot. As you can see there, the cars are still quite bunched up, but yeah. With that being said, we're going to be moving on now to the battle with the Audi in front of us. So this Audi did pose a bit of a problem with us at the beginning of the race. He was just there right at the beginning, and we obviously got punted off, so we got dropped down into 12th, took the place back to 11th. And I hope you like these camera angles, by the way. I'm going to be experimenting with different camera angles. There's an Aston Martin off track there, giving us P10. So we're already making positions. We're going to go for the overtake on the Audi down the straight towards the final two corners, but we're not going to make it stick. We've not quite got the straight line speed in the Bentley. The Audi does have the edge when it comes to straight line speed, so now we're just going to be settling in behind the Audi and finishing off lap one. We're going to be doing a little fast forward here just to finish off the length of the straight. It is a very long straight, as you can see, getting up towards 270 k's before breaking down for the T1 chicane. Now, the Mercedes in front is gapping the Audi and us by quite a bit, but as you can see, coming out of this corner, he goes over the sausage curbs and makes a huge mistake, goes off track, gives us and the Audi in front a position going into the hairpin. So now we're up to P6, I believe. Is that right? I think that's probably right. P6. To be honest with you, I really should have left the HUD on for this. No, we're in P9. P9. I don't know where I got P6 from. With that being said, anyway. So, we're going to be looking for a pass on the Audi now. We're reeling him in. We're really, really close to the back of that Audi now. Especially in this corner. The Bentley is surprisingly good under brakes. It is really, really strong when you're braking down into these hard corners. For some reason, it just gets stopped. So I'm looking for a way through on the chicane, but the Audi does it for me. Goes straight into the barrier. Little slow-mo there of his disappointment. Puts us up into P8. So, the next cars between us and the positions in front, so we're looking at sort of P7, 6 and 5. The next cars in front are between 1 and 2 seconds ahead. So it's just going to be a case of getting into the groove of this race, really putting the hammer down, trying to shave seconds off where I can, making sure that we're just maximising the grip in this behemoth of a car. It is a really huge car. So I'm hoping to... There we are, we're just going to skip ahead now. Sorry, my commentary is not very good. I edited this video quite a long time ago, so just trying to get used to the commentary style. It's not my kind of thing. I'm more of a live com kind of person. Anyway, we've skipped ahead now to where the Aston Martin and the AMG that are in front of us are within 1 second of us. So it has only been one lap that I skipped at the beginning of T1 just there, but we're coming now to the end of the second lap technically, so I skipped a lap and now we're at the end of that lap as well. So this is becoming a three-way duel now, essentially for 5th place. We're in P7, the Aston in front is P6, and the AMG in front of that is P5. So I thought I'd take a moment whilst this battle is going on. As you can see, I'm skipping ahead now, because essentially we're just tucking in behind the Aston Martin and the Mercedes, and just letting them fight it out. So I thought I'd talk about the Bentley's handling. The Bentley, at least in the stock aggressive setup, really likes to oversteer at corner exit, and under braking as well. If you're going just a mile an hour too quick into the corner, it does actually love to oversteer. It has very strange characteristics, this car. As you can see, we're so good under brakes compared to this Aston Martin, we really are. The Aston and the Merc have both got us beat in terms of straight line speed, but the Bentley is so good under brakes, you can really tuck in behind these cars and brake down into these corners. We're actually in P6 right now, so that's pretty damn good. But the Aston, like I said, the Aston and the AMG are certainly better cars when it comes to straight line performance, but the braking zone is just so much better, and that's where I'm catching them. That's where I'm making up all my time, is in these braking zones. As you can see here, running the 107 livery from the 24-hour endurance of 2019. It's my favourite livery. It's probably the one I'm going to be running in the 4 hours of Imola race, although I may pick the 2020 car. We will see. So essentially what I'm doing here is when I'm chasing the Aston and the Mercedes, all I'm doing is looking for a mistake. I'm trying to keep as consistent as I possibly can in this Bentley, really making my time up underneath when it comes to braking, and then just waiting for a mistake from the AMG. There's the mistake from the AMG. Me and the Aston go soaring past the AMG. Just dips a toe on the gravel on the outside, and that gives us the position. Now, I did make a slight mistake going into the second chicane there, but we managed to hold it just fine. So it's not a problem. We didn't lose a place, and we didn't lose that much time going into that corner there with that mistake. But now we are absolutely focusing now. We'll 100% focus on reeling in that Aston Martin. Well, we're currently in 5th position, so we're just trying to make anything if we can. Obviously, we qualied in P7, like I mentioned, so we're just really trying to get as much of this Bentley as we possibly can. Just trying to get as much out of it as we possibly can. So, I did want to touch on briefly what I've been driving in ACC primarily. Now, I've chosen the Bentley as my main car. For the at least for the 24 at least for the 4-hour race at Imola. I'd love to be doing a 24, but I'm not that good just yet. But I chose the Bentley for the 4-hour race because I found it was one of the most consistent cars. You can really get good, solid times, and you can bring up your consistency rating really easily in this Bentley. Like I said, in the stock setup, it does have a tendency to oversteer and understeer under braking. Oh, just braking there underneath the Aston Martin. We're going to absolutely send it up into T1. The Aston's going to get a tiny little cutback, but we're going to make the move stick. Absolutely fantastic move, and as you can see, there's some back markers just falling off the track for us. So now we're in P4. Would you look at that? P4 in the Bentley. It's not too bad. I do see the Bentley quite often. It's quite a competitive car. As you can see, there's various cars going off in the background there. I think 3 cars went off track at that turn 3 there, but we'll just ignore that, shall we? So, at this point, it is literally just going to be a battle for keeping this position. As you can see here, the AMG that did fall off the track and gave me an Aston the place has now rejoined the race and actually overtaken the Aston for 5th position. So, really good from him. A very good recovery drive, but he is a little bit laggy. We'll just ignore that. So something I did want to talk about, like I said, is the cars that I'd chosen when I started playing ACC. Now, originally when I started playing ACC, I chose the V12 Aston Martin because the sound of that V12 Aston Martin is just extraordinary. It really is. I found the car was, especially in the stock setups, I hadn't messed about with any tuning at all, but I found especially in the stock setups that car was not competitive on tracks like Spa, and certainly on tracks like Imola. It's really not competitive. The sound makes up for it quite a bit, but you really struggle with that car. It's a bit too heavy, it's a bit too old-fashioned. You need something a bit more up to date. So I chose the Bentley. and it's been doing really well for me actually. I've really enjoyed using the Bentley. I think that, like I said, the biggest strength of this car is definitely the hard braking zones. For example, at the end of this very long straight here, it's just so strong under brakes. You can really get it turned in. You can use the lean on the understeer just a little bit. You do go through tyres in the Bentley a little bit faster than other cars, but you really do make up for it in those braking zones. Now, like I said, this is just a bit of a lonely race for me at this point, because as you can see, I'm gapping the Aston, the Merc, and the Lexus all in the background there. Those three cars right there are battling for 5th position, whereas I'm just kind of walking away from it. All the fighting that they're doing, especially in these low-speed corners, is really just giving me extra headroom. I'm gaining tenths, 2 tenths, 3 tenths a lap on these cars because they're all fighting, as you can see here. It was mainly after the last corner of lap 8 that I really started to gap these cars, and it just, like I said, it just became a very lonely race for me. So I ended up skipping a little bit of this race. I skipped a couple of laps. So annoyingly, the 3 cars that were in front of me, those guys were far better drivers than me, far better. This is one of the earliest races I've done in this game. They were far better drivers than me. They were roughly 11 seconds ahead of me by the end of lap 8, so they were way ahead of me. They were way ahead. So I just decided that it'd be a good idea to skip towards the end of the race. As you can see here, beautiful transition from me there, and we're going to finish the race in P4. So that was a 20-minute race at Imola with a fantastic battle, rounding off the end, and they're finishing at P11, at P4, sorry. I'm very, very happy with my performance. Anyway, I just want to thank you guys for watching this video. This is the first type of video like this I've done. I'm definitely going to try and get my commentary a little bit better. We're going to try and get it a little bit smoother. Hopefully, as well, we're going to see some really exciting racing. And I've got a few updates to share with you in the next few days. So stick around on the channel for those. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Dan. Good night.